Yeah, so I definitely think so when I signed up for an online course, it was after my freshman year. Um, and I definitely thought that it was going to be less intensive than it was. Um, and I think part of that was I just thought like it's one class. I was only taking one class over the summer, so I was like, it'll be fine. It required a lot more, just like time than I was expecting, and than I would have otherwise really loved to be spending during my summer. But yeah, so I think that was definitely one big misperception that I had when I first took them, and it was honestly like one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken at William and Mary.
So I was really happy when I found out I got into the online course over the summer because I was going to be traveling on vacation with my family. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like I can still go travel, do my trip, and bring my laptop along and get my work done along the way, and I wouldn't be missing material. So I was pretty excited. I think once I got into the class and like started getting into the work, there was a little bit of panic of just, ooh, this actually is a lot more material and assignments than I thought.
I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I really had a very positive experience and I really took a lot away from it. And so I really signed up because of the interactive aspect of it, but what I was also really looking forward to in terms of specifically the online setting was the flexibility. I was able to work 40 hours a week and still do a class. And I was also really looking forward to just having access to a course that I'd never seen before on my own terms. So I could do my work when I wanted to do it. There was maybe 2 times where we all Zoomed together, but everything other than that was really me working around the deadlines when I could. My professor was very flexible as well. When I told her at the beginning of the class that I was working full time, she was understanding, and I also made it a priority to complete assignments on time, to participate in the discussion. And what I enjoyed about it that assisted in keeping my interest while I was doing so many other things was that the professor structured it with a lot of variety and also consistency.
I'm a very organized person in terms of having, figuring out what my schedule will be. But I think within lectures, being able to pause it and, go at my own pace, or even wake up earlier and get it done all in the morning, so if I had actually a class at 12, I can, wake up a little bit earlier, get it done by 10, and then try to take the rest of my day. But that's more of a week by week figuring it out thing. Or if I want to, sleep in, I can do class at 6 p.m. and it's still okay. That was only one class during a summer session. And so it maybe for the amount of work it was, I didn't have any other classes going on. I think it's different taking multiple classes online. I mean, right now it is, every week's a bit harder and struggling, especially with finals coming up, just figuring out time-wise and prioritizing when things need to be done. That's been a bit of a struggle, with all classes being moved online for the end of the semester. But
what I think the risk is maybe too much work. I was only taking one 3-credit class in a condensed period, and so it was more work than the spread out 12-credit semester. And you might run into a professor who's not very flexible and not very understanding. So it's really about if the professor knows what it's like to do all their homework and maybe other things too. Online learning is the experience is based on what your professor believes their online learning ethos is. And so if, your professor assigns work every single day, morning till night, and thinks that's appropriate, and you have a part-time job and they don't really mind, that could be negative, and it's up to you to read the syllabus and kind of figure it out.
A big thing, at every college, but especially at, William & Mary, which I love about William & Mary, is that professors love to encourage participation in class. I think one of the things that I had the most trouble with, and I still do, is a lot of times professors turn that participation grade into a posting discussion posts and replying to your peers on a discussion board or something like that. I'm the kind of person who it takes me a very long time to write something because I like to write my final product first. Sometimes, it'll take me at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half to write a 250 word, short little response. And that's a big time suck. And it's a time suck that, even if I was writing a discussion post on campus, I think it would take me less time than, when I'm just completely separated from the academic atmosphere. There are small things that end up taking more time, and that is rough to adjust to, because oftentimes then, I know a lot of people who have, now that they're at home a lot, they actually spend more time on schoolwork than they did prior to this, because they just it takes more time, and that can be fine, but it can also be kind of rough.
And I just know that so many people are having lots of Zooms, and even though some people think that we have nothing to do, nothing else is going on, I don't think that's a reason to assign more, or because if each class is thinking of that and, kind of putting that on you, it's a bit much.
I think that the face-to-face involvement, with another student, really does elevate it. And that is something that online discussion boards get close to, but not quite in a spontaneous way. So I would think maybe a method that an online professor could address this is having small groups, 3 people in you Zoom breakout session, whatever, and you just talk about a guided discussion or whatever, because I do think that that's actually really valuable. And in my remote learning right now, when we have breakout groups and we talk just 3 people out of 40, I get a similar experience to talking to a friend face to face.
So I have met with my group on Zoom so many times, and I've probably seen them more than I've talked to my friends since I've been home. So I guess in that way, I don't know how much we would be meeting or what our meetings would be if we were back on campus when, we all have our other extracurriculars going on, and scheduling in. I have soccer practice and training, so meetings are always interesting to figure out. So I think I've definitely connected with, when we have group projects for some of the classes. I think other classes, it is hard to engage everyone online, especially you have 30 people in a class.
But I think one thing that really does work well when it comes to trying to get accustomed to to a new schedule, or even just to get used to taking this many online classes at once, is to get out of bed at a good time. I've been for the first few weeks since we've been having online classes, I was really bad at that. I've been in classes where right now, where people will offhand mention that they were doing work for 5 hours straight, and I'm no, why are you doing that? So I think like one thing that I've been trying a lot to make sure that I don't do is that like I try very hard not to work for more than like 2 or 3 hours at a time. After that, I like know that I can like I need to like take an hour to like play a video game or like do something like that that grounds me a little more, because otherwise I think it's very easy to like I said, like things are taking me way more time anyway, and so it would be very easy for me to like spend a day just doing schoolwork and really not get that much done, and it's ultimately really not too big of a shift. They're like small things that like take some time to get used to, but I would say that, you know, once you get your foothold, it's not too terrible.
You expect online learning to maybe battle for your attention a little bit, because, you know, you click out of your computer screen and it's Google, the internet world is yours. And sometimes there's an expectation, like, is an online class boring? Is it just sitting down at a module and getting it done rather than retaining anything? But I found that what made that not the case was the professor's structure of the course, that our assignments were engaging and were varied. It was one of the best courses I've taken in college, period.